Well, hey guys, it's Thorzax here, and today's the day. So, we're going to head out to the range. We're going to take the 835 out. I have some of those pumpkin ball loads already loaded up. The thing is, though, is that I bought a red dot and a rail to put on the 835, so I'm going to have to sight it in first. And so I've got some cheap Winchester Foster slugs you buy at Walmart, you know, the 15 pack for $9 or $10 or whatever it is. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to sight it in with that, and then we're going to take some shots at 25 and 50 yards with the pumpkin balls and see how, see how they group, I went out yesterday and I checked it for function, and that was with the 32 grain load of longshot. And I found that load was, it had some thump to it. It was okay, but it wasn't anything to write home mom about. I felt that there's plenty of power there that is reserved in that load. So I stepped it up to 34 grains, and I made some this morning. I did change one thing with the loading. Is I'm using the standard red, low base, red cheddite shells. Hulls. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So stop. Hey, dude. Telling me to stop, and then you're telling me to go. So, okay. And a little communication here, guys, between these two dudes. So anyway, yeah. So I changed over to the cheddite red hulls. I got those on sale for like $6.50 for 100. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot those off. I've been watching Tailfledermaus, yeah. And I've noticed that he shoots a lot of his slugs with low base brass as well. So I don't think I'm really getting into a thing where it's going to damage the gun or anything like that. So anyway, that's the only thing I changed. Is I just changed the hulls. So. This is Thorzax, and we'll be right back as soon as we get out there to the range, dudes. Well, guys, believe it or not, we are at 100 yards. One of the range rules out here is that they don't like any shotguns on the 50-yard line. The guy went ahead and he allowed me to go ahead and get on paper, so with those Foster slugs, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to try the pumpkin ball out there at 100 yards and see how that works. I'm not expecting any, stellar accuracy, but we're just going to do this for fun. Okay. Go ahead and Kentucky windage this a little bit. Bring it in.
Like that sled?
Yeah, that's nice. Let's see if we can get on paper here.
I think it's 50 or so bucks.
Okay. Call it Will.
I could do it with my red dot.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
blowing one up either. You know, yeah, when I was at the other place, the dark side, I guess, guys were going out and buying those Dillons and they never reloaded. One guy went through 2 handguns in 2 weeks.
He's going down the week after.
You gotta buy the safety stuff with that line.
Yeah. Yeah, he took a Carter one night class and figured he was an expert. So.
Oh, part of the one-night class. I can understand that. Of course, I don't know the guy.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
I don't know if I'm even hitting paper down there, guys.
I'll see you later on, bud.
Take care, Jerry.
That's it. That's it, I got. Urine.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got some people coming.
Oh, okay.
See you later.
I'll see you later on this week.
All right.
What do you shoot?
300 Ultra Mag. Down the 200-yard range. I'm just collecting data for the chronograph today.
Going out there.
That's about all my shoulders will be able to take.
For the kids coming in that I bought. So I don't know if I'm gonna be out or not. I might just say, okay, I'll see you Friday, because they call you.
So that's the weekend after 4th of July, you're saying?
I'm out.
Dogs every day.
High up.
Depends on how my docking schedule is. Right now, I got docking on either side.
If they going cold, they still have it. Stay clear, Grim.
All right, Bruce. Good day.
I think you're right, man. Cycle like this stuff is very far left. See the cycle?
That doesn't look good, guys. Anyway, when we go forward and take the target down, we'll have to take a closer look at it. But I think that was completely off the paper. So we'll check it out. Be right back. Well, guys, they're pumpkin balls. You know, I would probably be willing to say that taking a shot at a deer at 100 yards, that'd be kind of stretching it a little bit for the pumpkin ball thing. Maybe with a little work and maybe a different wad, a little experimentation or something, maybe tighten up that group a little bit. But I just think it's the the overall shape of what you're shooting there. You know, because you're shooting a you're shooting a ball. You know, I mean, you're shooting something that's not really aerodynamic. But it looks like the wads are releasing, and it's not that bad for 100 yards, I guess. But anyway, we'll go back to the hacienda and we'll talk about it. So this is Thorzak's, and we'll be right back. Well, guys, welcome back. Thorzak's here, and the round ball. Well, I went to the range, and I had a hard time getting on paper at first. I went ahead and I went and sighted it in with these Winchester Super X 12 gauge, 2 1/4 rifled slugs. These just Foster slugs, 1,600 feet per second. And I got her on paper at 25 yards. I mean, I was able to just pinwheel the X. It was a great shot. Once I got it all settled in, I went to move over on the 50 and get set up. I had my rifle rest and everything like that, and I was going to set up on the 50. and the range officer came over, and for some reason that's not possible. I wasn't going to argue with the guy. I got up and I asked him, I said, well, what's the difference between shooting black powder round ball and a round ball out of a shotgun, or a slug out of a shotgun at 50? There's not much difference there. And he just kind of, raised his eyebrows and said, well, those are the rules. And I think basically what it is that our range does not want to have a whole bunch of wads, sitting out there and everything like that, from shotguns, people, shooting shotguns on the 50. So, anyway, one thing I wanted to go ahead and show you guys is that the release that I got from the ball coming out of the wad was perfect. The wax seems to do something. And the rounds, the ball rounds that I did shoot at 25 yards were well within about an inch of each other. I mean, they were just right on there. When I moved over to the 100, that was a whole different experience for this. It was a whole different deal. And I think what it is that the ball, as it's flying through the air, it's spinning. It's spinning, and then it starts to tumble because it really doesn't have a front or a back or anything like that. It's a round, And what happens is, depending on which way which way that it's spinning or tumbling or whatever, has an influence on where the ball is going to end up hitting on the paper at 100 yards, because the group will open way open, almost like a baseball player throwing a screwball. It just it'll find its area down there where it's gonna zoom right in there. It's just a gyroscopic thing, but I wouldn't be afraid to hunt with that. Not at 50 yards. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid at all. I mean, put them right in the boiler room. Not a problem. That's smack down all over it as far as a deer round. But I wouldn't push it past 50 yards, maybe 60 yards at the most. But I wouldn't push this as far as accuracy. The holes that I were using are these. These are the Cheddite, cheap Cheddite. Red holes. You get them from Ballistic Products. I think I paid $6.95 or something like that for 100. I decided to go ahead and keep the holes. I wasn't going to just throw them away. Later on, after I get a machine, I might want to load these for something else, and it really wouldn't take much to clean them up. I also have a conditioner to take the crimp back out and all that. So, that's something later on. I'll get some primers, that sort of thing. But overall, pretty good experience. 34 grains of longshot it's a roll. It speaks with a little more authority than the 32 grain load. I think that longshot performs a little better the more that you use it. 34 grains seem to have more positive ignition, and it just seemed to move everything a little bit faster, at the end of the gun. Anyway, so that's it. That's my 835, 3.5 inch chamber, rifled barrel. I've got this is it's a Bushnell TR25. I got this for 26 bucks off eBay, shipped, and then the scope rail was like $5.95, so it wasn't a bad deal. Good slugster gun, especially with Foster slugs. Man, this thing was right in there. Show you a little bit about the gun. It's ported. It's got porting on the barrel. It's rifled. I don't know exactly what the twist is. I would imagine it's either a 1 in 32 or 1 in 48. Good heavy gun, good deer slayer. So anyway, that's it. That's my video. I didn't save any of my targets. I didn't think it was worth it. Also, another thing too, by the time that I got done, there was a bunch of other people that showed up on the range, and it was going to look like it was going to be at least a half an hour to an hour before we got a cold range, and I didn't want to hang around that long. So anyway, for what it's worth, the next step in the evolution of shooting the slug gun is we're going to be shooting the 525 grain Lyman, and I've got to make some, so I'm going to have to start casting those, and then I'm going to start looking for a load for it. So that'll be the next venture in this, shooting slugs, for shotguns. So anyway, until that time, this is Thor's Axe, and I'm checking out.